The Eulogy Ghost Writer. Do It All Dad had a bit in his old stand up comedy act called Wise Black Grandma, where he'd say, "If I could do it again, I would have subbed my no show whiny Jewish grandma for a wise black grandma to fill in her place at my wedding instead." Post an ad on Craigslist. Wise black grandma needed for a wedding in Woodstock. Tyler Perry impersonators are welcome. Must be comfortable performing in front of white audiences only. Growing up, Do It All Dad grew a fondness, teetering on full-blown love, for his substitute Grandpa Ed, who exuded the furry-browed, warm-hearted, wiser glint you'd expect from a retired Jewish estate tax lawyer from Queens, in his button-up, neatly woven sweaters and whiff of well-put-together aftershave. Becoming a grandpa doesn't make you into Santa Claus. Yet Grandpa Ed, his substitute grandpa, who his Jewish grandma, Ethel, remarried soon after the death of her first husband, Murray, would shell out an always neat, crisp $5 bill for the grandkid who found the afikoman, which is the half-broken piece of matzah little Jewish kids go looking for after dinner for Passover, which was a nice, cheer-filled touch to celebrate the Jewish people's liberation from slavery in honor of God's hardcore divine intervention years on the behalf of his chosen people meant to become cosmic perfectionist lovers of TV who live to complain in restaurants about unrecognized immediate service. Now, Grandpa Ed had a grandson from his first marriage, yet you didn't get that distinct impression based on the eulogy he delivered on his grandpa's behalf. And Roger was billed as the really smart one because he played chess and wore plenty of turtlenecks, which gives you 10 extra IQ points easy. Grandpa Ed was dead now, and Roger, who later went to Harvard, was supposed to be giving a heartfelt eulogy in honor of his biological grandfather, not his rebound one, yet merely reading some boring letter his original wife wrote to Grandpa Ed, devoid of any juicy details, such as their sweaty sex period after World War II, when she used to lick ice cream bonbons off his belly button during those brutally hot summer Queens nights before Grandpa passed the bar, became a family estate tax lawyer, and could afford an AC unit of their own. Failed to bring back any semblance of real deal connective feeling either. Eulogies really do separate the men from the ungrateful twats such as Roger, who couldn't muster up a single original expressive remembrance of his dead biological grandfather, who treated him like the second coming of Bobby Fischer. Eulogies also reveal if Grandpa raised a cunt for brains daughter too. Now, there's a good kind of goal and a bad kind of goal. Faye, Roger's clammy, insincere peppy, patronizing, style-free, Ted Stumpy mother, showcased the worst kind of goal, when during a eulogy, she went for the kishkas, meaning the intestines in Yiddish, by openly declaring permanent FU season on Do It All Dad's grandma, when she said, with what felt like manufactured, dialed-up invective, up to like DEFCON 10, I'm just glad that now Dad can join Mom in heaven, which was a low blow on par with Mini-Me trying to gnaw off Austin Powers' nuts in The Spy That Shagged Me. Now on the limo ride to the gravesite, Faye asked Do It All Dad, a 20-year-old college junior at the time, "You didn't write your eulogy, did you?" He says, "No, my mom wrote it for me, Faye." Faye almost stutters and says, "Well, I just thought." The 20-year-old Do It All Dad adds, "You thought what, Faye?" "I hired a eulogy ghostwriter with my busboy tip money this summer in Cape Cod. My eulogy was well received by the rabbi because it sprang from my heart, Faye. Regardless if Grandpa Ed was my rebound grandpa or not, he still treated me like I was his own grandson, worthy of his wisdom and love. I recall him telling me how to place my feet when using a 7-iron once. which is more than my own dad ever taught me besides a half-formed hook shot. Wasn't there anything Roger could have mentioned to honor his legacy outside of reading an old letter his first wife wrote? Reality is, your son Roger, the genius, is the one guilty of plagiarizing by stealing the memories contained in an old letter your mom wrote to fill in the lapse of having any soul serenade sermon to deliver on his own. And where do you get the gall to disrespect my grandmother at her dead husband's funeral, regardless if you feel her endlessly manic, bipolar, art buying spree of Southwest American Indian art being responsible for draining his will to live 1 second more either? Also, Jews focus more on the act of mitzvah, which is doing good for the sake of doing good here on earth without the intention of soul financial gain involved, or promise hooked up afterlife props in heaven where all sins are cleared, even if Grandpa Ed asked Jesus to forgive him for raising such a cunt for brains like yourself. Do I have a way with words or what, Faye? But I'm positive your genius son Roger will make an excellent food coloring chemist for Johnson & Johnson to overcompensate for his color-free personality, which he could thank you for inheriting at your funeral one day, too. The end. This is the Doodle Dad Year podcast. Dad-friendly entertainment for you and me. Despite that extremely dark, vindictive ending. Controlling our kids to comedy can make our kids great again. My 3 fuss-free kids, 99.9% of the time, are living proof of it. I just signed up for SoundCloud, so now my Doodle Dad Year podcast is going to be available on SoundCloud. I reached my storage capacity before, as boring as that sounds. But the point being is that I love SoundCloud already because I've been uploading old episodes and I'm getting immediate likes up the wazoo. And I love SoundCloud all the time, long time already. So I'll keep on pumping out the goods and do my best not to trip over my lines like a stuttering jerk off while jerking off SoundCloud. And I'll talk to you guys soon.